Sequence, syntax, and selling. Sequence, syntax, and selling. So if you're watching this live right now, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, which many of you will be, give me a hashtag replay. This is a huge part of your sales calls. Okay, I can hear myself loud and clear. This is a huge part of your sales call, and whether you're selling a high-ticket offer for someone else, whether you're selling a high-ticket offer for yourself, sooner or later you're going to meet this concept called the syntax. Okay, the sequence is the order of the steps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Rapport, background, goals, pain, urgency, summary, decision, finances, objections. This is the sequence. Okay, the syntax is more the relationship between the different steps, the purpose of this particular order, and the impact, okay, the end result, the closing impact, the closing power, because the call is structured like this. Okay, can you imagine when I do a sales call? So the situation here is now my student Mike has been taking sales calls for me because I no longer have that capacity, and I wanted to coach him one-on-one, but I figured I will share this recording in here because it's something I repeat really often, and I hope that this can help you as well. Even though the prospect might be different, the product might be different, it does not really matter because the syntax for a one-to-one, one-to-two B2C high-ticket sales call is mostly the same. Okay, it's mostly the same. So I believe there's a big chance that this training can actually help you as well. So I'm going to share it over here with all my students or the people who are subscribed to me. Imagine someone has booked a call to talk about your offer, and you go from rapport, you jump to urgency, you go back to background, you jump back to pain, you go back to background, and you go back to rapport, and you go back to goals. Okay, can you imagine how the prospect will feel? Uh, Sometimes when I do my calls, I might look a little bit freestyle. Okay, but you got to understand, I've been doing this for 6 years full time now, and I might be able to get away breaking some of the rules. I might be able to sound like I'm a little bit freestyle, but at the end of the day, I know what I'm going for, you know. So if you see people doing that as well, and you're new to this, try not to mess with the syntax and, freestyle away, because if you do one call and it takes 60 minutes, and then you have 5 calls a day, okay, are you going to do every call differently? Are you going to freestyle every call? Are you going to jump based on, what comes to your mind? Because if there's no consistency in all 5 of your calls, in a week you might be doing 10, 20 calls, then what's going to happen to the quality of your call, right? So it's important to be flexible, but overall, you do want to understand why this sequence is structured like this, why the syntax helps you, and why breaking the syntax goes against the very thing you want to achieve, which is a complete close. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is firmness and energy. So I know for Mike, every day after work, you are taking out time to practice, train, work on setting, work on closing. So I've I haven't seen you miss a day. So I think that is really commendable. And I don't want you to see this review as, oh, it's a mistake, oh, I didn't do this really well. I felt like you did really well because you basically, I'm not sure if it's conscious, but you force yourself, to soldier through the whole thing as if you do for everything that you do. You had enough grit, to soldier through the whole thing. You made yourself comfortable, you made yourself uncomfortable, you push all the way to make sure you could get the best out of this call. And even you really push all the way to the end to pitch the program to try and handle objections, to try and do the summary step, to try and do urgency step. I would say from a structure standpoint, you actually pretty much practice everything I want you to practice. Okay, what you're not understanding is how to adhere to the syntax, why to adhere to the syntax, and what is the effect of using the syntax, and then what is the repercussions of breaking the syntax. Okay, so the first two big concepts I want to talk about is firmness and energy. So firmness is actually this sense of confidence and direction and leadership that you have on a sales call. Because can you imagine if every time on a sales call, assuming that there's a buyer and there's a seller, two paradigms, okay, the stronger one will lead. Between the two, there's always going to be that one that who is the leader, who says, I know what I'm doing. I've done this enough times, I am the expert, right? When the patient visits the doctor, the patient doesn't tell the doctor what to do. The patient is in trouble. The patient has no experience. The patient needs help, whatever the situation is. The doctor is the one who is relaxed. The doctor is the one who is firm. The doctor is the one who has clarity. Now, there's a difference between firmness and being forceful. I can tell that there are times you really wanted to show up as a leader, so you were trying to like lead and give the direction. So what is the difference between being forceful and being firm? You can see Daniel is live. Welcome, welcome. Leave a comment. Hope you have been well, Mr. Daniel. It's good to see you again. Okay, Happy New Year. Congrats on the wedding, Daniel. What is the difference between firmness and leadership? Sorry, what is the difference between firmness and being forceful? Forceful is when you have all that energy. You say, go here, do this, but you actually don't understand what you're saying. You actually hesitating on what is the next thing I should say because I don't really know how this call is going to go down. I can't actually lead. So this is when you have the force, but you don't have the clarity. This is actually when you have the force, but you don't have the leadership. You actually don't know where to go and why to go and how to go. So you might sound firm. Some people try and imitate like the way I close, the way I talk, but it's not the same because if all you have is force, the prospect is actually going to feel very repelled. Okay, so firmness doesn't actually mean that you're loud. Firmness doesn't actually mean that you're forceful. Firmness actually comes from this place where you're very, very clear on what the destination is, what the direction is, and it's like, I know we're gonna go here, and here's why. Okay, I am clear. I'm very clear. Okay, so firmness is huge because if you go on a call and you're like, okay, then the next thing I want to ask is this. And the next thing, so if you don't sound clear, if you don't sound like you know where this is going, subconsciously or even consciously, the prospect is going to be like, does this closer know where he's going, right? Does this closer know where he's leading me? Okay, so firmness comes from the clarity. So then your next question is going to be, okay, so then what is clarity? Clarity is what you will have after I break this entire call that you've done down. I'm not going to share the name of the prospect. I'm not going to share the call recording due to privacy reasons. I'm already throwing Mike under the bus here, doing this review. I'm supposed to do this privately for him, but now I'm just sharing this, for everyone to hear. So clarity is what you will get at the end of this review when you understand my analysis of the entire call and how sales calls should go. Okay. If you're watching this live or replay, do leave a comment. So it's not so much for me. Okay, I don't need the algorithm to be spiked in this private group, in this private channel, but I do want you to actually engage and learn. Okay, when you engage, you're thinking. When you engage, you're digesting. This is more for you than it is for me, because there's a very high chance that the next sales call that you take, you're gonna encounter the same thing, which is understanding and adhering to the syntax. Okay, so engage comment, put on your reflections, and then treat this as I'm reviewing your sales call. Okay, just pretend that this is a call that you have done and I'm reviewing it for you right now. Okay, the second thing I'll talk about is energy. Okay, what is energy? My own definition is energy is a combination of everything, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your emotions, your interaction with the client, the prospect, the rate of vibration, the emotional state you're in, everything. Okay, we say energy. So the firmness and your energy of the call needs to be very, very strong. And even if you are not very masculine, you're more feminine. This has nothing to do with whether you are male or female, masculine or feminine. You don't even have to try to be like me. In fact, I do not want you to ever try and be like me. Process firmness, process leadership based on how you understand what firmness is, how you understand what leadership is. Because if at the end of the day, if you know what you're doing, you know why you're doing it, you will be clear. Once you're clear, no matter how the prospect try to shake you, no matter how the prospect jump around, no matter how the prospect test or challenge you, it doesn't really affect you because you have been through this path so many times that you're like, you know what? This is the path. I'm the doctor. If you want to die, you die. If you want to get help, listen to me. Or you can go to another doctor. But I know how things are done here. You want to have that. Just imagine every time you go to a doctor or every time you visit a dentist, right? You want to feel safe. You want to know that they can help you. You want to know that they can lead you. So closing is like the doctor. You cannot fake it by just memorizing a bunch of techniques and then you say, okay, I'm a closer. You're not. You're just a hollow bag of techniques. You actually have to understand how to diagnose accurately, how to lead accurately, how to lead effectively. So then when the prospect come to you, they feel relieved that, oh, yes, I finally found someone that can help me. Okay, this is what I mean by firmness, leadership, energy. Okay, write this down. Okay, firmness, leadership, energy. I want you to be as thorough as I am when you take notes and you learn and you do reflection, because I don't want a scenario where I've already taught this and then you send me your sales call and then the syntax is still broken. Okay, repeat and a repeat and a repeat of mistakes, okay, it tells me that either I'm not being very effective in the way that I coach, okay, or there's something that's not getting through very well. Okay, so you got to be thorough and responsible with the way you absorb. Okay, just pretend you paid me thousands of dollars to advance your closing skill so you can close, right? Now, at the 2-minute 15-second mark, okay, Mike, clarity of question. What do I mean? Whatever you ask, the prospect will start to think. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you ask, the prospect will start to think. Let me see if I can see. Okay, very good. Happy New Year, Daniel. Okay, whatever you ask, the prospect will start to think. So if you ask one question, the prospect will think of one question. What you did at the 2-minute 15-second mark is you ask a flurry of questions. It's like jab, cross, right hook, uppercut, all at once. Okay. Of course, if you're a boxer, that's great. Okay, but right now this is not boxing, this is closing. So if you, I can't remember exactly what you asked, but it was a combination of questions. You were like, okay, so what is the purpose of this call? What are you trying to achieve? What are you currently doing? These are different questions that you just got to know the prospect. And I know sometimes I sound like that. Sometimes I ask a flurry of questions. But the difference is, I know what is the real question I want answered. I know how to insist. I know how to like make sure that the prospect answer what I want to know. That's the biggest difference in the firmness and the leadership. If you're not sure, you say, what are we here today and what is the purpose? And tell me more about yourself. Okay, how do you want the prospect to answer? You just ask them 3 to 5 questions. Do they tell you the backstory first? Do they tell you their goals first? Do they tell you about their family history first? What do you want them to do? And if they answer one, there's like 2, 3 minutes gone. Now, that's a very precious time. If you're taking like 5, 6 calls a day, that time is very precious. So what you ask, the prospect will answer. So you got to be very sharp with that, which is why when I script things out like this, okay, if I were to turn this into a sales script, and you should have a script to make sure that for every call that you do, the flow is the same. How I feel after doing all these sales calls full time for 6 years is that I am so bored of the sequence. I'm so bored of the sequence, I can recite it in my sleep. Rapport, background, goals, pain, urgency, summary, decision, finances, objections. It's so boring because it is the same call all the time. And I know it sucks, but this is how you ensure the consistency. If you do 5 calls a day, 20 calls a week, you cannot jump around the syntax and break the syntax and go from rapport, pain, background, pain. I might jump to urgency. I might jump to decision. Let me clear a bit of objection. Then I go back to background. Then I go back to goals. Then I jump to pain. Essentially, because you were freestyling this a lot, because I know you're still in an exploring phase. And I would say that your structure has been improving with every call. So I'm really fine with you exploring, but you eventually have to get to a point where you are breaking the syntax, you break the rules because you know what you're doing. Right now, you're not there yet. So you can't mess around because when you go like random sequence, freestyle, the whole call has no closing impact. And by the way, Daniel, what are you doing awake at 4 a.m.? Okay. So the other thing is the precision of words. Okay. If you ask, tell me more about yourself, they might say everything. If you say, tell me more about the programs you've tried, that's a very different thing, right? So where do you want to go with this, right? Because you are the closer, you lead. The formula is usually you start with a big question. Tell me more about yourself. Then you start to chop it down. Okay, so you want to be a setter, you want to be a closer, you want to start your own business. Tell me more about that. Have you done any programs? How did you manage to find us? So now your questions go from being very, very general to becoming more and more specific. Okay, this is a kind of direction from big to medium to small. If you don't script this out, you're gonna forget. Okay, so professional closers, we need to script this out. We are almost like professional actors. If you don't script your lines, you go on set, are you going to, act lip and just wing what you're going to say, right? That's not how actors work. That is also not how closers work. Okay. So establish that purpose. Okay. Thank you for coming on this meeting today. I appreciate you taking the time. There are 2 ways you can do this. Okay, you either establish the purpose depending on how the call was set. You can say that the purpose of this call is for me to find out more about you, what your history is, what your background is, what are we trying to solve, and potentially, if I can help, I will introduce to you my program. If not, no worries, you can continue and search for alternative options. This is when you set. Okay, if you want to play dumb or you're not sure what's happening, you can actually just ask them, what brings you to today's call? What is the purpose of this? Are you here just to find, some information which I can send to you, or are you here to try and solve something? Like, what brings you here today? So there are 1 or 2 ways you can do this, but either way, you have to be very clear, very confident that I am the one establishing the purpose. I'm the one that's going to draw the direction of this call. And this is my overall tonality. I have a very strong intention. I'm not rude, okay? I'm not forceful, but I have a very clear and strong intention. I'm on this call. This is a sales call. You are an adult. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. Okay. There will be an investment. Adults invest in themselves. The business leaders invest in themselves. It's 2024. If you get on a Zoom call, I'm here to sell you. Okay. There's no need to hide that fact. I talk about my programs all the time, right? So you don't need to feel awkward about this being a sales call. Because why? The best way for me to help you is to sell you. If I don't enroll you into my program, how can I help you? My time is limited. My energy is limited. You want me to solve, you go to a doctor, do you need to pay? You go to a specialist, do you need to pay? You go to a consultant, do you need to pay? Right? When there's an exchange of value, real legitimate value, you will need to pay. So there's no need to be afraid or awkward like, oh shit, should I come across as a salesperson or should I try and be their buddy? Okay, just sell them. Confidently sell them because you know that you can help them. You know that this is my best way that I can help you. If you don't come into my program, some other coach try and help you, they don't deliver. They promise everything, they don't deliver. You're gonna suffer, right? So the best way for me to help you is to sell you. There's no need to be awkward about this. And what I'm seeing is when you feel that awkwardness, you try to be that buddy. You're like, hey, hello, nice to meet you. Hey, man. No, no need for that. There's no time. If you're taking 5, 6 calls a day, right? You have work to do, you have content to create, right? You have a team to lead. You don't have the time to go buddy with everyone. Don't need to do that. There is a very clear purpose of this call. I'm here to lead you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to solve your problems. When you try to be buddy and then you go freestyle, the syntax becomes broken and then there's no more closing impact. Why? Why is it that when you break the syntax, there is no more closing impact? Yeah, I want you to listen to this call recording and you ask yourself the question, why? Now, I know different coaches will teach different things and they are not wrong, right? You might see some coaches that say, well, go straight to this first. Go straight to this first. They are not wrong. They will have their reason. Okay, it's pros and cons. My strategy is never to break the syntax. And I want you to think, why am I choosing to go with this strategy? Okay, I explained to you a little bit right now. It's because when you don't set up the next stage, your next stage has no relevance. When you don't set up the next stage, Daniel says working. Awesome. What a beast, Daniel. When you don't set up the next stage, your next stage has no power. For example, you want to ask about urgency. Did you set it up? Did they realize their urgency when you talk about their goals and pain? If they don't realize their urgency, they are like, hmm, hmm. And you ask the urgency question, will there be any relevance? Right? It will just be a technique. And then even before that, if you didn't even get the pain, how do you get the urgency? If you didn't even ask the goal, how you find the pain? If you don't have the goal and pain, how you create the gap? If you don't create the gap, how you have urgency? If you do it the other way around, then, or you jump to and fro, the entire syntax, the connection between the steps becomes very weak. This is why we never, never, never break the syntax. Okay. What you did correctly, I would say you have very good rapport. I'll say your background is very strong. And once you got to the 3-minute mark, okay, you did not complete the background. You skip the background So we don't know what's happening with this prospect at the 3-minute mark. We don't know anything. You skip the background. Okay, although later on you will keep circling back to the background, circling back to the background, because you're kind of freestyling this. You ask for the big goal, okay, and this is not wrong. But the way you ask for the goal has no structure. When there's no structure, there's no sequence. When there's no sequence, there's no syntax. When there's no syntax, again, the closing impact becomes very weak. The prospect doesn't know what to think. They can't connect the dots. They are not following a coherent leader. It's like we are dancing. The one that's supposed to lead is like forward, back, forward, back. It's a very awkward experience for the person trying to follow the leader. You know what I'm trying to say? Okay. So do the background thoroughly. Okay. What have you tried? Where you're coming from? What is this all about? Tell me more about yourself. Oh, you're currently setting. Okay. What's happening? Right? Oh, you're still studying. Okay, what's happening? So once you establish all this, now you know, okay, now I have a connection with you. Now I understand where you're coming from. Tell me, what are we trying to achieve? You take the prospect, you lead the prospect into goals. Okay, the goal step. Once again, remember what I said? Big, medium, small. Big, medium, small. What is the big goal? You want to succeed as a business owner. You want to succeed as a closer. You want to succeed as a seller. Chop it down. Specifics. What exactly is success? 10K a month? Okay, let's put it there. What's happening for you right now? Oh, you are at 5. Oh, you're at 3. Okay. From 3 to 5, from 5 to 10, what's happening? What's not working out for you? What are the obstacles? Oh, I've done a course. I can't land an offer. I've done a course, I'm not seeing results. What I'm doing now is kind of hard. I'm just trying to get something going. I have no experience. Okay. So the reason why we are identifying pain is to create the gap. When there's no gap, the prospect doesn't understand their condition, you know. They don't even think there's a problem. Sometimes they know they don't know, they don't know they know. It's our job as a closer to bring it to light. Okay, if you jump around, and then sometimes when you go here, you suddenly go back to background, then you jump forward to say, what do you know about Sean? Okay, you're jumping around. Don't do that. Okay, solidify, clear the background, solidify, clear the goals. Once you establish the goals, now you can talk about the present situation. Once you talk about the present situation, because of this order, because of this syntax, now you create the gap. You want to go here, 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 here. You're currently at here, 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 here. Why? Pain number 1, pain number 2, pain number 3, pain number 4. Okay, let's say they give you 5 pain. Okay, tell me, prospect, of this 5, which one do you feel is the biggest issue for you? Okay, they might say something like, I'm just not seeing any results right now and it's terrible. Why? Oh, I need to pay my bills. I need to get this going. So you would say that this is the most important, followed by this, and then this. Can I say that? Yes. Okay. So what happens if we don't solve this? What's the worst that can happen? Do you have time? You know, are you young? Uh, do you have enough savings? Are you kind of like just searching around? Do you just want to chat with me? Like, you come to the doctor. Okay, don't say, oh, you're trying to sell me. Okay, you come to the doctor because I can help you, right? What do you want me to help you with? Where is the most painful? You list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and it's not about I want to sell you, right? If this thing is so painful, you decide. You sell me. Are you here to solve this? You really, really, really here to solve this? Or are you just trying to get some information, you know, continue to figure this out on your own? another 6 months, another 12 months. You tell me, okay? Don't say I want to sell you. Because if you're not here to help yourself, I don't even want to sell you. Let's just move on to the next thing. Let's not waste each other's time. Okay, so you don't have to feel awkward about going through the sales process. At the end of the day, we are the doctors. We are trying to help them, right? They are the ones with the pain. If they want to be, detached, if they want to be difficult, if they're not urgent, that's not our problem. Next, okay, we got more patience to see. You can see yourself out, or you can come back when you decide it's time to get more help. No need to take it personal. No need to feel awkward about it. Okay. So once we get to the root cause, okay, we want to identify the roots. Deep down, I can see that you're not really having anyone to guide you. Kind of like how I'm guiding you right now doing this review, but like no one is really teaching you how to do this. You've invested in courses, they're not helping you, and you're kind of hitting the wall, you're kind of reaching the dead end, and you really can't continue to be stuck anymore. Can I say that? Right? I've just summarized all the root causes. And when are you looking to solve this? You don't say what I want to sell your what. When you're looking to solve this. If now, say now. If you can wait another 3 months, come back in 3 months. But what is the timeline? Right? This is the urgency step. So I hope you see that when I follow this flow, a clear sequence, a strong syntax. 1, rapport. 2, background. 3, goals. 4, pain. 5, create the gap. 6, identify all the root causes. 7, summarize. 8, urgency. Does this syntax make sense? Because I will do this for every single call, and it will have the same effect every single time, compared to if I go 1, 5, 2, 7, check the background again, overcome an objection, check the background again, overcome an objection, right? This freestyle has no syntax, right? But you can see when I did the proper flow just now, you can see how clear the pain is, how severe the urgency is. Unless it's not, it's not my duty to force an urgency on you. If deep down you don't feel that it's really urgent, I don't think it's ethical of me to, like manipulate you into fearing for your life. At the end of the day, you are an adult. You take responsibility for your life. Urgent, not urgent, you tell me. Urgent, not urgent, you close me. And it stops here. I will actually end for this particular prospect. Okay, just let's call her Tichala. Okay, we will just end the triage here. Why? Because if you do this right, you will only need 20 minutes. You listen to all my triage calls, okay? In 20 minutes, you can get all of this down. But you notice, not only did you not have a clear and strong syntax, okay? You did your best, you went the distance, okay? But you look at the timeline. 5 minutes, you were still asking about background. 8 minutes, you're going off tangent and you're kind of exploring. And I can understand that you're going through the exploring phase, which is fine. But once you're over this phase, get your syntax in order. Because at 8 minutes, you're saying, tell me why closing and not a 9 to 5. Then 11 minutes, you say, what have you tried? 12 minutes, you say, what do you want to focus on? 13 minutes, you say, did your course teach you this? 14:45, you say, do you think appointment setting is easier? 16 minutes, you say, you want to focus on setting and closing. At the 18-minute mark, you're still asking about setting and closing. Then 18:44, you went back to goals. Then you go back to setting. Then I know you're trying to sell her my complete concept. You say, do you think setting can help you with closing? Then 24, you did the process step. The process step is here after the triage. Okay, but you pull it in anyway. I guess you wanted to practice it. You're like, what do you understand about Sean's process? Then 26 minutes, you finally did the urgency step. Okay, now I ask you, you look at the way you've been jumping around and I don't know why, but you were very focused on this whole setting closing thing. Not needed. Okay, not needed. But because of the way you were jumping around the syntax, when you did the urgency step, how do you feel the impact of the urgency will be and it will feel compared to when I did it with the proper syntax? Because once you jump around, the syntax becomes very weak. You have what I call a very low pain index. I am not here to be your buddy. If there is pain, let's get it out. If there is urgency, let's get it out. Okay? So at the 27-minute mark, after you've done like jumping all around here, you went back to goals. And then after goals, you went back to present situation. Okay, so it's already 30 minutes here. Okay, and if you want to sell the process, if you want to sell what being complete means, we will do it after the triage. Okay, right now, this prospect is not ready for a enrollment call. So we'll just stop here. Okay, we won't sell the process and the program and the decision. No need to pitch because we don't even know if this prospect is qualified because the pain index is so low. This is like a chit chat call. You know, it's not like we are here to solve something. So fine. If you are here to chat, okay, then let's just chat and then we will end once there's no urgency. Okay, would you like to solve this now or kind of 6 months, 12 months down the road? Oh no, okay, then we can only help people who are, serious about launching, building their career and business. So if it's not the right time, I don't want to close you or pitch you right now here. I don't think there's a fit. Maybe we can reconnect again in another 3 to 6 months, and then you just end it in 20 minutes. Now you save yourself 40 minutes. You save yourself 40 minutes, which can be used to do another 2 calls, which can be used to put out content, which can be used to get more leads into your pipeline, right? Which can be used to then prospect for better quality leads that we can actually help. So don't be afraid about ending the call there and then. Okay? If they don't sell you on the urgency. Okay. There's no need to create such a strong logical divide because then you are engaging the logical mind. Do you prefer setting? Do you prefer closing? Okay. All of us come into the internet marketing world because we want to exchange what we have, our value, right? That value can be copywriting, the value can be setting, can be photography, can be spiritual coaching, can be relationship coaching, right? Can be digital marketing itself. But all these tools, they help each other. It's what complete us when we want to launch our business. So there's no need to create this divide between, do you want setting? Do you want closing? Why setting? Why closing? Okay, I know you're trying to guide this person to be complete. Like I can set, I can close, right? But the way that I'm doing it, I'm integrating them. The way that you're doing it, you're trying to integrate them, but then the divide is too intense. Okay, no need to crack their brain about getting enlightened on why do you want money? What is your purpose? A lot of times, if you sense that the prospect is not clear, is not ready to answer such a deep question, sense it and then you can just back off. You don't need to keep pushing to get answer because even right now it's already 30 minutes. It's already 30 minutes. And the reason why I laid out all these timestamps and the what happened on the call is because I want you to see when the syntax is established this way and you throw out the urgency step. Is there urgency? From this setup, will there be urgency? The setup was erratic. The setup was weak. There's not going to be urgency. So by 34 minutes, she kind of realized like, you're kind of taking her on a loop. You know, you're not sure how to progress to the next phase, the next phase, the next phase. So she's like, you're still asking me about selling. You're still asking me about my purpose for money. And you ask me why Sean. Okay, I know you're closing me. So the rapport was completely broken by 34 minutes. Then 34:52, you went back into background. This deep into the call. You went to check the background again. Okay. And I can understand why you're processing like this, because you are trying to be as thorough as you can. Okay, so you're not wrong. I can see that you're trying to be as thorough as you can. I just need you to see that monitor the strength of your own syntax. Okay, because if you can, try to clear all of this background information in the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then that's it. You do not need to go back to say, when did you start this process? At 35 minutes. Okay, at 35 minutes, 42 seconds, you said, to be honest with you. Okay, try not to say this. Okay, and then you start to introduce the program. I'm happy that you're practicing pitching, but you don't need to pitch. This prospect is not ready. Okay. And then again, you ask again, do you want to focus on setting and closing? Again, no need to keep harping on this. Okay? By this point, she's really like, why do you keep harping on this? No need. Okay. And this prospect isn't familiar with my work yet. So she's kind of like, well, my needs are not very high. I've just seen a little bit of his videos, right? So if this person is not ready, stop the triage. Stop it at 20 minutes. Okay, send them back for more training. Okay, try to help them as much as you can in the 20 minutes. Okay, just by mapping out all these things, it's already helping them to get a lot of clarity. Right? And it's also helping us because we know that we can't help the prospect. But I'm happy that you continue anyway, because it gave you a really, really precious opportunity to practice. Okay, don't say this. You said to be honest again. Okay, this one is okay. You're trying to set expectations. When you want to set expectations, try to frame it more like a question, right? It's like building a business. It's not an overnight success, right? There's work to be done. Do you see yourself putting in the kind of effort, right? Are you someone who shows up? You can just ask normally like this. Okay, change the telling into a question. Let them convince you, right? It's not about we want to sell them. They want to come into your program. They have to convince you that they're going to do their share of the work, right? It's a very fair, this is a business exchange. It's a very fair question to ask, right? Then 40 minutes, you went back to say, are you studying economics? Why? You don't want to 9 to 5. What else you want to study, right? You went back to background. And I know why you're doing this. You're trying to see what falls out, right? You're trying to press here, press here, press here, press here, and see what falls out. Okay, I can appreciate you really being so meticulous. Okay, so continue to do this, but in the right order. Try to clear this in the background. Okay. And then 47, you ask, can you take calls at what times? Okay, this person is not ready to be a closer adult. So this one, again, it's good that you practice. I think you did the right call. I think I would want you to actually practice. Okay, but in an actual call, when you are seasoned enough, no need. Okay, summary step for a triage. Stop at the summary. So I think at the 48-minute mark, you start to feel like the call wasn't going where you wanted to, and you don't know why. You thought it was her energy, she thought it was your energy, and so the energy was really low. You know, it was like, oh shit, I can't sell you. I don't know how to sell you. There is resistance. Okay, this energy is not from her. This energy is from you. Okay, and you have to understand why this happens. Uh, our own inner child, okay, our own emotions will come up in high ticket closing. It's a very natural process because it's a human conversation. We are leading people. So our relationship with emotions, it will all come up. right? So you have to understand why these emotions come up and don't try to resist it. Don't feel bad about it. Just let it come up to the surface. Okay, observe it. Okay, understand it. It might take a few months, right? You could just get it right away, but uh, don't resist it. Okay, understand why this this thing comes up. Okay, but it should never happen again. Once you understand it and you're able to be at peace with it, okay, this is not her energy. This is yours. Okay, it's kind of like a little bit of a doubt, a little bit of a shame, a little bit of a fear, and we all have it, and it will come up in sales calls. I don't know why, but even for me, like it does come up. You have to really remind yourself that you are the doctor here. Okay, you are the one with the solution. Okay, so the next time if you sense this happening again, you have to remind yourself that first of all, this is happening because I am too attached to the call. Okay, take a deep breath, pull yourself out, okay, and detach. Okay, if you have a script on the side, if you have a reminder, look at it and say, okay, I'm getting sucked into this energy. Well, there's no need. I need to remind myself that I'm the doctor. Okay, where are we here? Let's get to the root of this conversation. First of all, I'm not sure if you're feeling this, but I'm kind of feeling this energy right here. I don't know if it's from me, I don't know if it's from you, but it's been 30 minutes, it's been 40 minutes. I have another call to take. I know deep in my heart that I am able to help you, but you might not be completely familiar with our work at this point. You might need some more material to understand if we are able to truly help you. So let me know if what I'm feeling is right. Like, are you kind of feeling confused if we can help you? Are you wanting to, be part of our program, but you're not sure if you can make it work? Like, I want to address this energy, and I hope you're okay with that. Okay. This is also a way to mature emotionally when there's an awkward energy in the room. And you got to understand, like these kind of things, the more you avoid it, or the more you don't know how to address it, the more that awkward energy is going to grow. The more you confront it, the more it disappears. Right? It's really a way to mature emotionally to say, this is what I'm feeling, and correct me if I'm wrong, but am I not doing a good job like leading this conversation? Or are you feeling confused or upset that I'm not able to provide a certain direction? Because I know in my heart that I'm able to help you. If there's something that you want to address, we can talk about it now. Otherwise, if we hang up this call, the next time we talk might be, 3, 6 months later. And I'm not sure if this needs to be addressed now. Address it. Okay. So instead of saying, can you take calls at this time? This might be probably something better to say. I can tell you a lot of times, right? The prospect wants our help and they might not be in the right place at the time. So they are having this kind of thing, which is causing this weird dynamic of low energy to happen. Don't let it happen. Okay. We are the leaders, we bring it up. We are the leaders, we call it out. Okay. 55 minutes, you start to practice some objection handling, which is really not bad. But I'll tell you right now, she didn't even give any objection because we are not ready to enroll her. We didn't give her the price. This is not a sales call. So if it's not a sales call, there's not going to be any objection. But I love that you have this grit in you to say, well, you know what? I'm this deep in the conversation. I might as well bust some objection, even though there wasn't really a real objection. Okay. And then 57, you went back again. 57 minutes, you went back again to say, are you Did you change your mind about appointment setting? No need. Let it go, Mike. Let it go. It's the same. Appointment setting, you close on text. Closing, you close with your voice. Okay. And then now you just shot her this. Why should Sean accept you into his program? Okay. Really nice attempt. I think this is the most complete call. I'll give you 100% for your effort, 100% for your intention, 100% for being responsible and meticulous. Okay, do not see this review as a setback. It is not. What you have given me is a structure that I can now polish, reorganize a little bit so that your next call, okay, I want you to script this out. Script your questions out so that you can monitor the flow. The big question, the potential sub questions, so you know how to do it. Of course, once you do 100, 200 calls, then you can be like me. I'll totally forget what to say, right? And I will still adhere to the principles of the call. Okay, a lot of times I even tell the person, hey, if you don't want to buy, just like don't buy, don't enroll, and then they still buy. Okay, because I've done this enough time to know what I'm doing. Okay, but until you get there, please, and to all of you listening to this as well, do not mess with the syntax. Do not break the syntax. Okay? If you currently have a coach that tells you, well, my syntax is we just do this first. We just do this first, or we just do this first. He has his reasons. He has his strategy. If it works for him, if it works for you, if it works for your offer, that particular context, go ahead. Okay, but for the offers that I sell, okay, for the way that I want to serve my prospect, I have chosen to go with this specific strategy and syntax, and I have my reasons. Okay, what I want you to do, okay, to all of you listening to this, okay, is to don't fully believe your coach, don't fully believe me, but go and test it out. Okay, go and test it out and take what you feel works best for you, and then create your own style, because you're gonna have your own zone of genius. The offer that you're selling might require a particular adjustment for yourself. Okay, so there's no hard and fast rule, although most of the principles are timeless. It's about value, it's about leadership, it's about clarity, it's about trust, right? These principles will never change. So if you break every single rule and the prospect come to you, they pay in full, don't be surprised. There's a very high chance that consciously or unconsciously, you got all the principles right. Okay, so hmm, Mike, I want you to script this up properly. Big question, sub questions. Okay, make sure the flow is right. And for now, stop at the triage. Okay, then I will coach you again to do the enrollment call, but stop at the triage, because this is very helpful for you to really nurture the prospect correctly, discern if they are the right fit. If it's the right fit, then we will transfer them to an enrollment call. Or if it's not a fit, within 20 minutes, we can shut it down and move on. Okay, so this is the syntax of a sales call. I'll probably do a second part for the enrollment call. I'm going to stop at the triage section for this particular video. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions, if you have thoughts on a similar situation that you have encountered before, please share your insights, share your experience in the comments. Okay, reach out, let me know how you're doing on your sales calls for your offer, for someone else's offer. I would love to hear how you're progressing. And as always, any comments, questions, feedback, send them my way. I'm going to stop here today, and I will see you in my next video. Great job, Mike.